All right, here we go. Game one, Golden Guardians versus Gigabyte Marines. This is the first time that a North American 2 seed has made it to the tournament. And the 1 seed, apart from CLG long time ago, has not even done that well here. So 2 seeds, no one's really got big hopes for Golden Guardians, except I'm sure Golden Guardians themselves. But you know, they've got some players. They've got some people putting it together. They've got a whole thing. Huhi and Stixay have done it before. They've been teammates for years and years and years. Of course, back in the beginning, it was mid lane Huhi, but now that he's in support, they keep on pulling these off meta or slightly off kilter picks, and Huhi just seems to have a grasp of everything that's going on. So look for him to be the shot caller in this lane, trying to figure out what to do. Of course, in this lane against Nautilus, Set is happy to take that fight and just continue it and be like, all right, you want to engage? Let's go. The problem might be a little bit later in the game, how to actually get Set involved, but there is a Gragas Gwen very low range team. Gragas, Gwen, Nautilus, and 280 carries means that if Set can get to the back line, that should be the end of the fight. Now we do have Poppy as well. Poppy being able to stop the dash of Gwen and knock her up to stop any aggression there, or to the Gragas belly bop if he's quick. Doesn't really work effectively against Nautilus, although you can get the proc, but you're already getting hooked up. We'll see how they play this lane now. Poppy, Licorice Poppy, right? We talked about this a lot. Poppy is stronger than she was last time that she was a dominant meta laner. So we've been waiting for people to pick her up. Glad to see her for the second time in the tournament already. And I expect to see more of her. Now, a big question mark is going to be in the mid lane, Tristana, right? Level 2 spike, level 3 spike. These are all in potential plays. Good spacing there by Gigabyte Marines. Showing a little bit of aggression with Viego there. When we're talking about Tristana, basically at every level, there's going to be all in potential. And what Gory is going to have to do is always position away from minions, right? Which is something you're just going to do fairly naturally. But in this case, if Tristana is able to jump on your head, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But if you can interrupt the jump with the charm, then you're going to be in good shape. And for that reason, we see Gory with Electrocute, which is fairly standard, but she's looking basically counter the jump and then pop W, get a Q off. If this can ever happen, then it's an extremely good win for her, in which case Katie is not going to be looking for just any interaction, or if they have a go button, they've got a counterplay ready to go. All right, now let's see. Kaya versus Licorice. Who's going to grab the aggro here? Expect Gragas to grab it. E-Flash. Done. Dusted. Easy pickup. So let's see. Do we get the cross-map play? Viego's looking down. They've invested double wards here. Teleport is coming down. And they kill the Set. Oh, no. Everything's going poorly. Katie with the flash jump. All right, a little bit overeager there. But props to them running double teleport. Perhaps in bot side they thought because Gwen was in that interaction that she wouldn't be teleporting to bot, but they discounted the fact that Tristana was there, which balked the engage, and then they just killed the Set for free. So very inauspicious beginning for the Guardians. Now check out Huhi. This is a classic that really Huhi was one of the first champions to do this. Just go straight to mid. Through this path. Now it is warded. I would love to know if that was scripted already from Gigabyte Marines. Nice trading from Gory here. But if this ward was a planned, like save this ward for after Huhi dies or after he recalls, because he's always coming mid, that's something that you want your advanced scouting staff to take care of for you. So let's take a look at the dive. Again, Gragas with red buff and high health is going to just take it. Look at that, not even waiting for a frame, just E-Flash. Doesn't want to allow the Poppy the chance to put up the Steadfast Justice. Now check this out, look at this, never even gets off the slam. That would have been a full charged Haymaker. Yes, he would have died, but man, he's got to try to get that off to finish that dive. All right, Viego level 4 can take the dragon, and it looks like he's going for it. They've got the push with Zeri, and they got the push with Ahri. Ahri will have pushing advantage here at level 3 and 4 because she'll have 2 points in the queue. But a full K gold lead to Gigabyte Marines right now, and it's going to grow because, you know, Viego's taking all this time, taking this dragon, recalling for the second time already. Not going to have a huge buy, which means Levi's going to have a big advantage coming out onto the map right now. 1,500 gold worth of items in his inventory versus 1,100 for the Viego. So Gragas is going to be much stronger here, looking for these plays. You see the Hextech Alternator, which is very good early, right? It is the best damage per gold item you can buy at the beginning of the game. So expect to see some action from here. A little bit of peel. Who he gets a good haymaker, and you like those trades, right? If you're fronting up all the damage, but with Gragas showing up, you will get spotted there. That minion stepping up was enough. Now Kiaya on Gwen. Let's see, because Gragas is bot side. Now the gig is up, right? They know Gragas is bot, so they're flexing top. I like this call by Golden Guardians. How long is Levi willing to sit in this bush, right? Because he's giving up his entire lead right now for this play. They're stacking the wave. They're going for the dive. There is no teleport available. Ahri and Poppy both are down. Who he misses the slam. Are they trying this, or are they just getting poke out? All right, they were looking. All right, well positioned there. Getting on the other side of that turret to make sure that Nautilus could not land the hook. Gigabyte Marines definitely could have pulled the trigger there if they had any sort of information on Viego or inkling where he would be. Instead, they used the pressure for an invade, which is the safer play, right? You don't need to get the dive off necessarily. You can go for the plates here, which is exactly what they do, and now they have some extra pressure. But because they stick around, they kind of slow play this plate, it does mean that Gragas needs to get out, and that means that Viego's immediately back in this game. So that's really drought of plays right there. Gigabyte Marines trying to set something up, but it was sussed out by Golden Guardians, and they get nothing for it. So well played there by River, knowing that he's got some time. Finish topside, and then I'll come contest. And Poppy using her health bar to get in the wave. This is the point of the game where Gwen's going to start taking over this matchup, though. Once you get Leeching Leer, it's a different champion against these tanks. And then Riftmaker, of course, it's lights out in the side lanes. All right, Huhi on the roam again, as they are wont to do. 8 minutes. Now check this out. This is exactly the type of play that we like, although normally we send Poppy to the bot lane. All right, the one iteration that would be a little bit different. It looks like they're calling halvesies on it, and they're going back. Zeri roams to the mid lane, while Huhi goes to the pit. Right, this helps ensure that you'll have 4 to 5 people in the pit for the fights. Now check it out. Zeri's going to get a big ultimate. Gigabyte Marines is known for overpressing mid, or I should say for prioritizing mid. And they get punished there, not realizing that the Zeri was in play. So that's something you got to know against these Huhi teams, right? They've got the script. They know 8 minutes. You rotate over. You go to that pit. You can send Poppy to either lane, and then after you take the Herald, you can go to either position afterwards. Xayah has to use her ultimate, but does get the better of this trade. Now, I don't like that Stixie's actually pushing this wave. They might say, hey, we've got an opportunity to get this under turret, but they could have froze right there as well. I think Stixie's opting, we've got no ultimate. We're just going to get back, step out of this lane. And Gwen flexing on the lane. Now, this is going to be a Divine Sunder or Poppy. All right, check this out. Call into Sheen. Much less tanky. Of course, if you go the tank build, you're going to get ripped apart eventually, but you would last a little bit longer in this phase. Now, you will be more deadly going into the fights, especially when you're breaking up these fights. We do want to have some amount of damage, since Ahri's a little bit lower on that scope, but they're not going to be short for it between Viego, Ahri, and Zeri. Zeri also having a good mix, meaning that they can have a good differentiation of damage types. But they're back to standard lanes. Besides the Huhi roam. Zeri, of course, the safest AD carry in the game to leave alone. So they're happy to do it, happy to ping pong some waves and then just step back to see how she's never even stepping forward, right? You just clear the wave, step back, rotate out. And Gwen just constantly getting the better of these trades. Using that leeching lure to full effect. This matchup really swings on Q2 from Poppy, right? So you're going to notice Gwen constantly trying to sidestep the second part of the Q damage. If Poppy is ever able to get the Q2 to land, then she has a chance of winning the all-out trade, right? You need that. You need the shield. All right, let's check out this fight. Position, Gragas stepping forward. Nautilus is up. Set taking this fight. This is poorly positioned by GAM. They're taking the fight, but they're going to get blasted here. That sort of setup is fine if the enemy team does not have Set. And we're showing how Set can be super, super strong into that kind of formation. Enemy team's just trying to walk forward with Fat, and Set's like, okay, here we go. I'm going to dunk it on you. Viego's going to get the benefit of 2 plates. We'll see if we get any share from Zeri. It looks like we will. I don't know that that's actually good, right? Viego's shopping right now and shopped with 4,000. So if this is not a completed item, then this would actually be a huge punt by Stixay to absorb this. But probably a full item in the bag. We're probably looking at Boots and Divine Sunderer there. Yeah, so look at that position. Beautifully done by the Set. Although, never even able to get another spell off. Very interesting, right? So you've got that big CC. You expect it to have... You expect there to be continuation and to try to get Haymaker. So maybe one of these fights, he might actually have to just ult into W. Not even try to get the E. There we go. Great engage. Finding Levi in the jungle. Now, we do know Levi can be a power farmer. Gragas, this isn't Nocturne, right? What was that? Wow, 5-6 years ago now. It's been a long time since the Nocturne came out at MSI again. It was famously leashed through the jungle by Galio for several camps. This was back when you could share jungle experience. But they were giving Nocturne this huge bonus, and he got to level 6 at like 5 minutes and 30 seconds and just rampaged the entire game. All right, there we go. Huhi gets the Haymaker off, so they execute the dive. They're in good shape. Stixay going to be the beneficiary of all this extra gold. 109 CS already has Berserkers, going to be able to buy the completed item in base. Maybe wants to get one more wave in. They may try to press for more since they have an inkling. I have to suppose that they know where Gragas is top. They've got all this vision in bot side. Check out how much priority they've got in this, right? 5 wards. Well, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the scuttle, including multiple pinks. So they're investing heavily in this situation. Let's see if Poppy decides to get rid of the wave. That's something you can do with Poppy, a little bit underutilized technique. Just ult the wave away and try to string out somebody under turret, right? They come to dive you, you just ult the wave away. They're so busy trying to dodge your empowered R that you just go for the minions, and then there they are, taking turret shots. River feeling himself in this Gragas matchup, as he should, right? He's absolutely going to win these fights. This is very far forward, though, without knowledge of the entire enemy team. Going at the Gragas now, despite Zeri just arriving to lane, Ari only now getting the push in. Huhi is in range, but that was a little bit preemptive. Would like to see that synchronized just a little bit better. Let's see. Ari finishes boots, gets the Ionian boots of Lucidity, which means she'll be able to port around the map, although the teleport is on cooldown right now. That is an important advantage to know once you get to these unleashed teleports, just to have an extra minute, right, compared to the enemy team, or half minute on the cooldown there can allow you to make plays in windows where they can't. All right, I don't like this position by Huhi. Your team is taking the Rift Herald. This is not a time to step forward into your jungle. Poppy is fine playing weak side right now. So this looks like it's all a posture. But yeah, now we do get some engage. We get the engage flash Q and ultimate used from the Nautilus. Gory gets out though. Flash and ultimate expended. So same as the Nautilus. It's a wash. No harm, no foul there. You do have Hex Slash now on the Nautilus though, so we could have a problem. Around these pits, they may be able to try to find some angles. Let's see if they move Zeri over. It looks like they will. Zeri's going to start moving down. If they can get Scuttle, although they're not going to pressure for this timing, right? It is spawning in the next 5 seconds. There it is. But Zeri, they just want to get her over. They can use mid-wave push, create the priority here, right? And play inside out. Expect Viego to take this and start moving over to the bottom. They must feel like they're pretty strong here. A lot of early game champions. But they are moving Licorice over to this pit. No teleport. Gwen and Poppy on the same timer. So if they go over, I expect Gwen to get here first now because she got that push in. So she's got the inside track. Now this is what you want. Poppy's going to escort her here. You want to be mirroring her as she comes in. Gwen opting to use the backside of the wall and now is reversing. I like this. Flipping the script. Not actually coming over. Right, jumps over the back of the Baron pit and slides back so that Poppy loses vision of her. This means that Poppy gets strung out a little bit. Love this adaptation from GAM. We're not actually fighting Dragon. Let's get an advantage somewhere else. So they pincer in the mid-wave. They actually wedge in between the Poppy that's rotating over, which means Gwen gets some free time on this turret. Poppy has to use her ultimate. So GAM gets something, right? They weren't going to contest. It was going to be a losing fight. They get something back for themselves. Well played. They also leave some lingering vision in the western quadrant, right up on the beach. Check these wards. These will see some rotations that Gwen would otherwise need to worry about. All they need is one more ward right here, and they'll be able to cover everything that could possibly get to the Gwen. Now, lots of gold on the most important players in the game right now. River on Viego, Gory's Ahri, and Stixxay's Zeri are all XO. So all their gold is in the right place. They also have 3 dragons to their name. They've got the lead and they've got the scale. So their things are looking pretty good for them. It's a tough composition that GAM has put together for themselves. Anytime you get 280 carries, you really have a tough time. You're going to have to snowball these turrets down and set up proactive plays because your team is lacking enough tools to protect some of the carries. What they might say is, hey, Xayah is able to self-peel for herself. And Tristana's a mid laner, so with that extra experience, maybe she can fight for her own. They might even send her splitting for a while. You don't really want to send Ahri into her, and since Poppy's building Divine Sunder, she can't really go either. So Tristana might be able to get a lot of work done here. Again, opting to counter, which is something we wish NA teams would do more, right? They tend to match when they should counter. So love seeing GAM taking something on the other side. Hey, we're giving up Dragon. Let's wedge mid and let's get Poppy's ultimate. We're giving up top. We're not contesting our northern quadrant. We're going to take something with Tristana. So this is a very promising side. You know, this is important losing macro, right? When you're behind, you have to learn how to get the little advantages, and GAM is doing that very, very well for themselves. And I like this, right? Shallow wards, right? You're behind, so you put in the shallow control wards. You'll be able to take this later. You know that no one's getting that far behind you. And now Nautilus is going to be able to step up, take some time, and get all these wards cleared out, right? So in the meantime, expect Golden Guardians to move their lead over to the east side. They're going to start setting up for this Soul in 2.5 minutes. But if GAM is apt, they've got a team that can rip apart Baron, right? With 280 carries and a Gwen, they can absolutely kill this Baron in about 15 seconds or less. So if there is a protracted siege for the Dragon, they will be happy to trade the Soul in order to get the Baron. And if they get the Baron, they'll aim for the 3 inner turrets. And if they can catch up in gold, then they can say, hey, we can fight for an Elder Dragon. That's the game plan if you're Gigabyte Marines. Now, if you're Golden Guardians, you want this fight. So expect Ahri to get this wave in and just rotate right now. Try to sacrifice one top wave to the turret. Something you can do if you're Gory here, that CS is not going to help you win this fight. Right? So instead, you leave one of those minions alive. See where this wave is colliding up top? All right? It's just going to sit there and build up a slow push for the enemy team. If instead you had left 2 of the minions alive, for example, then your wave would have stuck here. It would have delayed even longer. Gwen wouldn't have access to it. And so instead you get this situation where Gwen is cleared 10 seconds before she should be able to. and instead you should be able to have a wave stacking right there. Instead, they use the window. They say, all right, we're going to teleport behind the Tristana, and it looks like it's going to be lights out. We do get the stun from Viego. Absolutely nothing Katie can do here. But here we go. Does Gigabyte Marines take the Baron? They should be doing it 100%. Why are they not calling for this? This is a big mistake. You had the play. You get the wave faster. Yes, they teleported behind the Tristana. They used 3 champions to come over. You saw the pings on the pit. They absolutely could have done it. And whether or not you think that they could have and definitely would have gotten away with it, this is your best chance of winning the game. Like at this point now, Tristana dying again. Tristana's going to be so far behind the other laners, right? She's not even on 2 items. Everybody else in the game that she has to worry about is going to be on 2 before her, which is not what you want to have happen out of your mid lane AD carry. Does this mean that they're going to fight for Dragon? I would hate to see them fight for Dragon. Now, GAM, what they've excelled at in their region is this mid-lane siege. They do it better than everybody, at least in Vietnam, and they've been representatives here, but Huhi trying to take it to them with the early dunk into the backline. Poppy splitting up the fight, which means Zeri's just going to rip everybody apart, and this is just slapping them with their wallet. Stixay just enormous going into this fight. And this is the problem, right? And I actually love this against a team that likes to jam it middle. What better pick is there than Set that can say, okay, you want to set up front to back in a mid lane siege? I accept. I will take your front, I will put it into your back, and I will hurt you until your insides are out, you know, because everything will be backwards. Gragas being dunked into the back line. It doesn't really matter who it is, Gragas or Nautilus, whoever's up front, you just dunk them back. Check this out. 5 people is saying, hey, we've got the lead. We're happy to do this. Huhi sees the window. Boom. Sees that he's going to dunk into 4 champions. Levi actually flashes out, but the entire team, you see this, it kites away from the Gragas barrel, is able to step out. He gets no damage out of his biggest source here. Katie shorts the jump, perhaps trying to get a reset. Of course, you can go E-auto jump, get the reset on it, and then jump out again. So you can get double jumps to get out of sticky situations. But it looks like they were just trying to get a little bit extra damage, which means that the soul goes over. All right, so things are looking great for Golden Guardians. Just great team play. Everyone's doing their job. No one's taking any unnecessary risks, except maybe Huhi. But you can see, like, this is where the strength of the pick. If you get your spells off, you're in very, very good shape. And now, but just having Dead Man's Plate and Merc Treads, Set knows he's going to get his spells off. He'll be in position, and he'll be able to get that dunk in, and you can see it with the 8 assists. So here we go. They're playing for the fight. Make no mistake about it. Tristana and Gwen are on the side waves. You want to try to get the 3 people here. It looks like GAM is going to opt into a attempt at a steal. Inting for a steal. Poppy just jumping into the lines, using the ultimate, peeling the team away. Well done. Now let's see, do they go for the fight? They do. Set jumps over the backline. Excellently done. Love to see the Zeri able to jump forward. And they take this fight for themselves. And that's cleaning up. That'll be game. 33 seconds on the first person who can clear a wave, which means that they are going to try to end this. With the Baron, it'll be close. They'll be able to get at least the inhibitor. It looks like they're actually going to do the smart thing, which is tank for the minions, keep these minions alive, and this will mean for inhibitor. They're not going to go for the end now. No, it looks like maybe they are. They are stepping forward like they want to. No one's picking up the back wave. No, they're just going to step back out. It would be a very, very tight window there to try to go for it. No reason to split and make it about an outplay going for the end of the game. It could have been done, but it would be very risky. Enemy team would be shopping, you're not shopping, and you haven't shopped since you got Soul and the Baron. So absolutely the right call to step back. Much higher percentage play, and at this point they are basically 95% win to win, or more. Good job by Poppy zoning here, not letting the Gragas into the pit, saying nope. Well, I don't agree that you guys are able to stand here. But look at that. Stixay jumping in first. So potential window. If enemy team is looking for it, they might be able to pop Zeri at the front there. And if they pop Zeri, this is a different fight. Make no mistake about it. But heads up play, good job. And wow, Huhi getting all the way over the wall. That was good stuff. Love to see that smile. All right, Gwen going off to counter again. You don't need to match every single play. Gwen, you're not looking to take these fights. You're going to lose these fights. So Gwen goes opposite, says, hey, I have a much better chance of just playing in the 1v1 against the Poppy, especially who went Dead Man's Plate, so I can go Shadow Flame. I can try to take this fight. Now, if you're Kiaya, you have to take the skill check, right? You have to try to outplay the Poppy here. You need to find an advantage somewhere because your team is going to lose this turret. You see either a mid laner or a tanky support, but especially bruisers coming in. They bring the mid wave in and they threaten the flank, right? You leave your marksman support and one body to help heal in the bot lane. And then Ahri is ready, clearing this wave, letting the supers get in faster and threatening for that backline dive. Now, Poppy surviving enough, right? This is enough to get it done, right? You can trade some of your hit points to get the wave down. Divine Sunder is just such an incredibly good item. And taking this trade. Now, Gwen is going to pop out. Poppy does have the teleport to join into this fight. Gory's forced to flash. They might decide to call backs here and save the teleport. They might say, hey, we've gotten enough. We don't need to press. Now, this might be a little bit of, I don't want to call it jitters, but they're taking the super safe play each time. Which is fine, right? You want them to be calculated, be like, hey, yep, no, we don't need to, we can do it now. But this has to be the play now. I want to see them end while this middle inhibitor is dead. Right, you've got 1 minute on the respawn there. Bot lane's going to be dead for 4.5 minutes now. You've got 8 more supers coming to help you through the bot wave in the longest wave. And you've got another one through mid. So check this out again. You're going to see Ahri push up the mid to bring in the supers. What I'd like to see, since the Baron is dead, you want the waves to arrive at the same time, right? When you have Baron, you want staggered. You want one to hit so you can buff it, and then you want the other one to hit so you can buff it. But in this case, you want both waves to arrive at the same time. So Ahri's putting pressure forward as they're going for this turret. Have you slow down, Ahri? Slow it down, slow it down. Looks like Xayah was able to take that wave. So Ahri's going to look to push up this next one, and here we go. This is what you didn't want, right? Because you didn't slow down the wave, Xayah was able to pick it up, and you lost your wave in mid, which means that the enemy team was able to defend and go top. So a little bit of imprecision there. It could have been decided that, hey, we're just going to let supers do the work. We don't actually need to win through top lane right now because Elder is up. But honestly, if enemy team even tries to think about defending Elder, you would have crushed in the end of the game there. Set finds the engage. Beautiful corner by the Set. Shutting off vision on the flank. Gets in and they get the clean pick, saying, hey, we know that you've got to come contest us at Dragon. So we'll be able to find this angle. Beautiful job by the Set. I mean, he's an absolute genius. Can't wait to see this guy get into a coaching role whenever he does finish, but happy to see him playing for as long as possible. Game 1 in the books to Golden Guardians.